What's up, Wayfinders, and welcome to Los Angeles. We are having some fun adventures here in LA this week, and then we'll be heading to Disneyland later in the week. But for now, let's go ahead and dive on in. So this first vlog this week is actually going to be a little bit different because it's going to be several days of adventures that we're doing all piled into one. And that's because we have a couple of tours this week. I don't know how much I'll actually be able to film and do things like that. So right now we are here at Manhattan Beach going through the botanical gardens, just kind of hanging out. We already had our first stop, which was of course going to In-N-Out for lunch, which is a staple here in California. But just keep following along because in a little bit here we're going to be going over to SoFi Stadium for our stadium tour over there. So I'll check back in just a little bit. All right, y'all, so look behind me. We are about to go on our SoFi Stadium tour. Of course, this is where the Rams and the Chargers play for the NFL. We are super excited. We're gonna get to go through different parts of the stadium, learn different facts about it. I'll show as much as I'm able to. I don't know what the rules are specifically with like photos and videos, but I'll show as much as I can, and we'll check back in a little bit. All right, so we just wrapped up our SoFi Stadium tour, and that was really, really cool. I definitely think if you come to Los Angeles, you should consider doing the SoFi Stadium tour, even if you're not like a huge sports fan. Like if you're not a big fan of the NFL, that's okay. You will get a lot out of this tour. It was honestly so cool to be able to see some of the clubs and the club levels that they have in there, some of the suites and all of the different options. And then we actually got to go into like the players' locker room and see what that looked like. So, and our guy was super cool. He actually had a couple of special surprises for our tour that was not included. But I think the coolest part of this SoFi Stadium tour is that like for today, we weren't able to actually go onto the field because it's the off season. And so it's not set up for that. But if you come during the NFL season, you're actually able to get onto the field and explore, is what our tour guide was basically telling us. So this is a tour you can do multiple times and get a different experience out of each time. So, but now we're gonna head on, probably go check in to our hotel, and then we'll see what else we can get into a little bit later. All right, y'all, so our evening plans for today kind of got thrown off a little bit. We were going to go to an LA staple, something that you absolutely have to do when you come to Los Angeles. And unfortunately, it was just really crowded. And so we're going to try to go back here before we switch on down to Anaheim later in the week. But it was just, sometimes it just didn't work out. It was a long day anyways with traveling and SoFi and all those good things. So we just decided we grab some groceries and head back to the hotel for this one. But I wanted to highlight where we are staying this week, as I think that's an important part. If you're planning a trip to Los Angeles, where you stay is very, very important. And we are staying in Burbank, California this week. We like Burbank a lot because it's close to LA. I mean, you're probably within 40 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, of Los Angeles. So you're not driving forever to get out there. It's super convenient to go down there and do all the LA stuff, but also you've got a lot of studios in the Burbank area with studio tours and things like that to do. So super easy to get all that done here as well. Burbank is also, for the most part, very, very safe. Obviously, there's parts of everywhere in the country that are, sketchy at times, but very, very safe for the majority of the Burbank area. Great food options, lots of hotel choices. So there is something good about Burbank for just about everybody. And Burbank even has an airport that you could fly to if ticket prices worked out. So Burbank's just a really cool area to get to stay in and explore as well. So we're excited to stay here for the next couple of days. But the next thing you guys are going to see, though, is actually going to be our next day. And so I'm going to see you at our next stop. All right, so we're at our next stop, which is really cool. And we are visiting the Disney studios that are here in Burbank. So this is the studio that Walt built after Snow White. And unfortunately, they don't do any sort of tours or anything with it. It's just, they don't really do that. And we can't really just walk right on in and see anything. But we are going to try to get as close as we can to take some pictures and show you guys as much as we can. But this is another really cool thing that you can stop by and do if you're in the Burbank area. Just drive by and see it. And if you're a big Disney fan, I definitely think when you're in this area, you should. Because, when else are you going to get a chance to do it? So... All right, so now we are here at Warner Brothers Studio for our Warner Brothers Studio tour. Now, I am pretty sure from what I read that there is no videoing allowed during the tour, but I'm going to try to take as many pictures as I can to include pictures for you all to see. But basically, we're just going through the studio lots. I think we're going to get a chance to see the Friends set at some point, as well as some of the other just movie sets that they have here that are readily available. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're actually going to get to see, and I'll make sure to tell you guys about it when we're done. All right, so we are continuing to knock things off of our list for our trip. The Warner Brothers tour was really, really cool. I really did enjoy that. So neat to go see props and things from TV shows I grew up watching and heard about. So lots of fun. And then we headed on downtown to LA for the Grammy Museum. And so we went through the Grammy Museum, and it was cool. Had some cool exhibits, some neat things going on there. I wish it was a little bit more than what it was, but honestly, it was a great way to spend a couple of quick hours. But we are in LA Live right now, which is where Crypto.com Arena is, where the Lakers play. Been looking around at some of the different statues and stuff. Saw the Kobe statue that is different from the last time I was here. So we're having a lot of fun, and we're going, I think, now to head off to a beach to go hang out for a little while, and then we're planning on going to an LA landmark that we were trying to go to yesterday here in a little bit. So keep following along. We'll check back in soon. All right, so second time in a row, our plans ended up having to be changed again, but it was because we realized the last place that we had on deck to go to today is closed on Mondays. And the only reason I even bring it up is because I did notice that lots of things in the LA area have really strange operating schedules. Like the Grammy Museum, where we went to a little bit earlier today, they are open every other day of the week but Tuesdays. Like Tuesday is like the one day they are closed. And then like this place is also open. The other place we were going to go to today is open every other day of the week except Mondays. And so when you're planning a trip to LA, you need to keep those things in mind, because it can be confusing on how you piece all of those things together. You know, you have to be aware of that. And we just totally let it slip our minds that we needed to check the operating schedule for the last place we were going to go to, because we just never would have thought it was closed today. And so unfortunately it was, but we ended up hanging out in Burbank for the night, had a wonderful evening here. And so we'll pick it right back up here in just a moment for you, in the morning for me. And so you'll see us at our next spot, because we are going to have a full slate coming up here in just a second. Right, so right now we are hanging out in Beverly Hills, which I don't know about you, but depending on the tax bracket you live in, it's quite an expensive area to be hanging out in. Of course, we're gonna go visit Rodeo Drive, which is a famous street here in the LA area. We'll not be able to afford to buy anything, but it's just fun to come and visit, to see the Beverly Hills sign, take a few pictures, have some fun. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit here, and then we're going to Hollywood Boulevard, which is another famous street here in LA, where you're gonna see the Star Walk, the Chinese Theater, all of those fun things. So we're gonna show you some clips of just different places around here in Beverly Hills, and then you're gonna get to see Hollywood Boulevard as well. So stick around. All right, so we finally made it to our big LA landmark we've been trying to make it to for several days, which is Griffith Observatory. Up here, you get great views of the entire city of Los Angeles. You also get to see the Hollywood sign from up here. It is a ton of fun. I will say it is super crowded. A lot of the times we've been having trouble finding parking and things like that. But this is a thing that I think if you are coming to Los Angeles, you need to try to do every single time, because again, you get the best views and the best looks at everything from up here. So we are enjoying our time here now, but we are going to leave here in just a second. We're going to head to a place called The Grove, and I'll check in from there. All right, so we went over to the Grove for a late lunch and some shopping. Now the Grove is just a shopping area, you know, lots of different places to stop in, lots of good places to eat. So if you're in the LA area, the Grove is a great place to go if you want to do some light shopping, or you want to go get something good to eat. There's plenty of options available there. And then now we are at the Santa Monica Pier, which behind me, as you can see, there's lots of carnival games and fun, but of course there's also access to the Santa Monica Beach. And Santa Monica Pier is kind of a big, famous landmark here in California as well, that lots of people like to go visit. So it is a lot of fun. Now there is a lot of activity that goes on around here, so it's just one of those things that you have to be mindful of as you come down here, that there is a lot of people and a lot of stuff happening. But we're gonna hang out here for a little bit longer though, and then we're gonna head on back for the night. All right, so our day has come to a close, which means, sadly enough, also our time in the Los Angeles area is now wrapping up as well. But the exciting thing is, this means now, starting tomorrow, we are heading off to Anaheim to be at Disneyland for the next couple days. And so we're looking forward to that part of the trip. But before we wrapped up on this one, I felt like I needed to talk about one of the biggest things that we did this week that really helped us to go to all of the different places we went to in LA this week, and that was City Pass. So City Pass is actually available in several different big cities throughout the United States, but they have one specifically for Los Angeles. And we bought our Warner Brothers studio tour ticket through that. And because we bought the ticket through City Pass, with an upgrade, we were able to get 3 other attractions included for the week. So this included our SoFi Stadium tour ticket, our Grammy Museum ticket, and we didn't end up using the third option, but we could have gone to the Art Museum, we could have gone to the LA Zoo, the La Brea Tar Pits, and it would have been covered under that City Pass cost. Now, for the week, it was $109, but I'll say this, if we had bought all of those things individually, it would have added up to being much more than that, because Warner Brothers alone was probably $60-$70, and I know for sure SoFi was at least $65 for their tour. So just those 2 things alone would have been more than $109 if we bought those separately. So City Pass is definitely something I think you should consider if you're coming to Los Angeles on a trip, because it's going to A, save you a little bit of money, but also B, is going to give you some incredible options for things to do while you're out here and truly get a lot out of your LA experience. So ton of fun getting to use that. And of course, Griffith and Santa Monica, those things, they aren't on the City Pass tickets, but because you are knocking all of those things out with your City Pass, that frees you up with some time to go do those other big things. So really enjoyed using that this week, but super excited for what's ahead too, because now, like I said, we are getting ready to go to Disneyland. And so make sure to stay tuned, because over the next couple days, you'll see our California adventure vlog and then 2 vlog days at Disneyland as we celebrate the 70th anniversary. So make sure you guys are liked and subscribed, so that way you can keep up with everything that is going on. I hope you enjoyed this LA adventure mega vlog, and I hope you guys have a magical rest of your day, and I'll see you again real soon.